Hi, everybody. I'm here with a very special guest and a longtime friend, Darryl McEwen, the Seven Stars Insider, as well as Mr. AC Casino, who writes a weekly article for Atlantic City Weekly. Darryl, thanks so much for being here.
Good to see you, Craig.
Well, we've got a lot to cover, but why don't we start with one of your areas of expertise, Atlantic City. I know that they finally opened up right before the 4th of July weekend. I believe it was July 2nd?
July 2nd, yes. Thursday the 2nd. Almost everybody opened up.
So what are you hearing? How did Atlantic City's opening go?
Well, it's strange because I knew we were going to be having this conversation, and I was hoping I would hear from a lot of the people who I do hear from, either by tweets or emails. And I heard very little. I heard a lot beforehand. And then, the Tuesday before the casinos were going to reopen, the governor sort of shocked everybody by saying, no smoking in the casinos, no drinking, no indoor dining. And the indoor dining was also supposed to start up on the 2nd as well. So a lot of people said, gee, if I can't have a drink on the casino floor, or I can't smoke, or I can't, go to a restaurant, why should I go? So I did hear that the hotels were very busy on Friday and Saturday, but based on my little day trip on Tuesday of this week, I think it was mostly vacationers, beach people. I saw families of 3 and 4 and 5 carting around beach chairs and umbrellas, and not a whole lot of activity in the casinos. But again, keep in mind we're talking on Tuesday. But it is summertime, and so normally I think the casinos would be busy, but the hotel rooms seem to be occupied more by vacationers more so than gamblers. And the shocking thing was one of the well, shocking's a little strong, but one of the requirements now, and I've seen this at all the casinos, the elevators, you can only have 4 people max. And so I was, for those who are familiar with the layout, Bally's, Wild Wild West, and Caesars are right next door to each other. And there's an escalator that takes you from the Wild Wild West casino up to the 2nd floor casino of Caesars. And I got to the top and I walked around the corner and I saw this gigantic line. I mean, there had to be 30 parties, not 30 people, 30 parties, 2, 3, 4. And they were lined up, and it looked like they were lined up to go into the salon, which I thought, well, that's odd. It's not even open. And then I realized what it was. They were lined up to get on the elevators because of the fact that there was a limit of only 4 people. It was taking forever for people to get up to their rooms. So I can only imagine what it must have been like over the weekend when they were really busy and people were trying to get to their rooms and just had to wait in line. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but in terms of the actual experience, as I said, I did not make it to Harrah's, but I got to Caesars and to Bally's, and they basically had a security guard stationed at the entrances, standing next to a big 6-foot-tall sign with a list of questions. Have you been sick during the last 7 days? Do you have a fever? And you're supposed to read this thing and obviously answer no to every question, or they won't let you in. But no temperature checks or anything. Whereas if you go to Golden Nugget or you went to resorts or Ocean, they had guards at the entrances, and they had one of those little guns that they put up, or a thermal imager. Golden Nugget had one of those. So I was surprised that Caesars did not have the temperature checks, but they were the only ones. As I said, I did not get to Tropicana, and I know for a fact that Harrah's didn't have it either because I talked to somebody who was there. So and masks, of course, are required everywhere. That's a Caesars wide, MGM wide, and New Jersey wide casino regulation. And I assume people know Borgata was the only casino that did not open in Atlantic City. They felt that they could not give their customers the full experience, and I assume they mean restaurants, because the only way you can eat is just to get takeout from somewhere, whether it's a casino restaurant or bar, or walk over to McDonald's or some other outlet. and then eat in your room, or or sit on a park bench on the boardwalk.
Yeah, it sounds like the governor of New Jersey turned into the mayor of that town from Footloose. Remember that movie where it's
Oh
like
yeah,
bands drinking, smoking,
yeah,
dancing? So
yeah.
yeah, that's quite a
Well,
bombshell to
Pennsylvania
drop.
has also banned smoking now. Harrah's, Philadelphia, was the first, and they did it on their own last Friday. Matter of fact, I was there, and about an hour after I left, I got an email from my host there um, saying, no smoking as of 4 o'clock. And then I think yesterday, the governor of Pennsylvania announced no smoking in any of the casinos, because the same thing happens. People have to pull their masks down to smoke. And what I witnessed when I was at Harrah's, Philadelphia, twice in the last 2 Fridays, is that people just weren't putting them back. And I don't think it was they were trying to be nasty. I think they just forgot. They pulled it down, had a couple of puffs. I'm not a smoker, so I can't understand. I can't explain it. I think they just didn't get around to putting it back. So this way, that's no excuse. But they still do allow drinks on the casino floor in Philadelphia, which is nice.
Well, so Atlantic City is in a pretty difficult competitive position, I'd imagine. If you're a drinker and Atlantic City, they're not offering drinks, but Harrah's, Philadelphia, they are, and MGM National Harbor, it sounds like they were.
MGM National Harbor is, and Horseshoe Baltimore. From where I live, I have to go through Baltimore to get to Washington. So I did stop at Horseshoe Baltimore on my way just to kind of check it out as well. And they are serving drinks. It's there is smoking, but I think they are now also, and this is just temporary. The non-smoking in Pennsylvania and in Maryland, and I believe even the Atlantic City is just a temporary issue until things straighten out.
A question that maybe dumb question, but a lot of tribal casinos, they serve drinks, but you have to pay for them. In Baltimore, Maryland, these different places, Philadelphia, is it comp while you're playing, or how does?
Philadelphia, Harrah's, Philadelphia, drinks are complimentary. I'm not sure about all the casinos in Pennsylvania, but I do know that they're free. But you do pay for them at the Horseshoe in Baltimore and at MGM. It's not a huge expense. I think drinks are like $4 or something on the casino floor, and they have when they're open, like Horseshoe has a lounge, VIP lounge it's called. They don't call it a Laurel Lounge or 7 stars. It's for anybody who has 25,000 tier credits or more, and the drink prices are reduced. And then ironically, even though the drinks are free on the floor at Harrah's, Philadelphia, when the Laurel Lounge is open, you pay for drinks in there. So, but again, they're deeply discounted. So it's $2 for a glass of wine or something like that. So it could just be that they're trying to discourage people from going in there and staying for the whole afternoon or the whole evening.
Right. Go out and gamble, get your free drinks.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've actually gotten a chance to visit quite a few casinos in the Northeast. Any casinos jump out at you, or anything you saw that was really good or really bad? Any feedback? Because I'm sure there's some casino people that will watch this and they'd love to get your perspective as somebody that talks to a lot of gamblers, knows a lot, has a lot of opinions.
Well, the only thing I experienced and what I saw was if you do want to have a meal, whether you want to have lunch or a quick thing, they don't seem to be geared up yet for food service. I had lunch at Golden Nugget on Tuesday. They have a really nice outdoor terrace that's open seasonally with drinks and food and entertainment, and it's called The Deck. And they actually opened before the casinos did, because as long as you had an outdoor venue with a separate entrance, you could open. And Resorts had a similar situation with their Landshark bar. A friend and I walked in, and there was nobody there at the little host desk. And finally, one of the servers came over and said, "Oh, just go sit anywhere you want," and grabbed a paper menu from underneath the podium. But then, we waited, it seemed forever, for somebody to come over and take our order. And then I had a question, because I was trying to to burn some comp dollars. So I was going to take food out for dinner that night. And I had a question about the menu. And she said, oh, we just got this menu yesterday or whatever. I'll have to ask. And so anyway, she brought our drinks and then she brought the lunch, but she was there so quickly, and it came in a takeout box. And I thought, oh, I bet she misunderstood, and this is not lunch. And so by the time I opened it up and discovered that that's how they're serving things in styrofoam boxes, she was gone. And I said to my friend, how much you want to bet when she comes back, she's going to say, oh, I forgot to ask the question. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So anyway, she answered the question, and I placed my order, and we waited a little bit longer, but it was very disorganized. And I saw the same thing at Harrah's Philadelphia. The food was good. Food was good every place I went, but the service just didn't seem to be up to par. And I'm guessing that they just were short-staffed. I mean, there could have, as much as everybody wanted to get back to work, I'm sure that there are a lot of servers, like customers, who are just a little leery about going back in a COVID-19 environment. So I'm not sure what the reason is, but also this was we're talking about a week after 3.5 months of being closed. So you kind of cut them a little slack. Or at least I did. Even me, Mr. Complainer.
What in addition to being health conscious and probably being nervous about going back, I've talked to some casino folks that said also on top of it, there's almost a financial disincentive because they may be, the unemployment right now, because there's state unemployment and then there's federal unemployment on top of that. And a lot of people in these frontline positions are making more on unemployment than they would going back.
Yeah.
So they don't want to get sick and they're making more. So why, why would they go back?
Yeah, I talked to, I won't say where or which store, but one of the retail outlets at one of the casinos. And the guy in there said to me this exact same thing. He said, I wanted to get out. I think he said he wanted to get away from his wife, but he said he was making more money staying at home and, not putting up with the hassles of dealing with customers and all that sort of thing. So yeah, but I don't know that really affects servers and things, especially people who depend on tips and whatever. So I don't know how that works, but yeah, there are a lot of. I never felt worried about health-wise because there was, no matter which casino I went to, there were people cleaning and sanitizing everywhere. They were encouraging, the customers to use the hand sanitizers, to socially distance. Every other slot machine, if not every third slot machine, was turned off. So I never felt uncomfortable that way. It was just unpleasant, as I said earlier, not the wine. That mask just is not. And I tried a couple different kinds, and maybe I just have too big of a head. I don't know. But it's just, that's not the same. And, I don't even care so much about the drinks. But and I'm not a smoker, as I said. So it's just not quite, what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, sadly, we're stuck with this for quite a while.
It seems that way. And another victim of it is G2E, as I'm sure you heard. And actually, you sent me an email about it too.
Yes.
So because we had a great time. Actually, has it been 3 years now that you treated me to a dinner?
We had. Oh, that's when we had. Yeah, we had dinner with Dave Schwartz, and was that the same trip that we did the interview on the High Roller?
Yeah, we had an awesome interview on the High Roller, which again was your treat, thanks to your 7-star benefits. So thank you. We had drinks in the 7 Stars Lounge or Diamond Lounge, and then we had dinner at that Valley Steakhouse. It was an awesome trip. Yeah. And I was actually thinking about coming back.
I know we did the High Roller, and there were 2 people who were trying to buy a ticket, and I had extra freebies or something, and I said, hey, and they kind of looked at me suspiciously, like, what kind of a scam is this?
Yeah, that's right. You that was so generous that there was a couple in line. I think they look like honeymooners or something. You're just
yeah.
Hey, I think the only person that was disappointed was that person that was about to collect money. She's like, huh? Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that thing was expensive, especially for the one that I think it's like almost $50 for, with the drinks and, for 30 minutes of going around in a circle,
I wonder what they're doing on the high roller with social distancing. Are they keeping it like an elevator?
They've cut the number of people. I think it's hard to believe that those cars hold 40 people, but they now have reduced the maximum to 10. So because they're bigger than it appears once you get on those things. So I think they're limiting to 10. I'm not quite sure, because that was about a month. That was last month's newsletter. So I'm already into August.
Yeah, I imagine has this been one of the most challenging or fast-moving times for the Seven Stars Insider newsletter, trying to keep track of what's going on?
I mean, it really, it's a good thing that I'm quarantining and I'm not doing anything else, because trying to keep up with everything. Things are changing, minute by minute some days, So yeah, but it's fun. I enjoy searching out this stuff and seeing something and, adding it to my latest news feature on the newsletter. And but it's something that keeps me busy, keeps my mind occupied. And if I can't gamble, I guess I can write about gambling.
Well, speaking of big news coming up, the Caesars Eldorado merger is finally nearing the finish line. So what are you hearing about that? What do you know of as next or final steps to getting that deal done?
Well, yesterday the Nevada, there are two different boards there. They're the same people, but they had to have back-to-back meetings, but they're the same people, and they approved it unanimously. And I understand there were like almost 3 hours of questioning of all this sort of stuff, but it was pretty much ahead of time. Everybody knew it was a done deal. So the next steps are tomorrow. The Indiana Racing Commission will vote, and then on Monday there's the Indiana Horse Racing Commission, and they have to also approve it. And then the following Friday, I guess that would be the 17th. The last hurdle is the New Jersey Gaming Commission, and I'm sure that that's not going to be a problem. So what the next step is, honestly, Craig, I don't know. Once all the approvals are done, the FTC, the central governing body for the government, they approved it last week. So that'll mean that all the approvals that they need are in place. And I just don't know what the next step is. To use your analogy when we spoke earlier, I don't know that it's a matter of turning over the keys and flipping a switch. There's going to be time, I'm sure, to form a new board. There's going to be, I've heard it could take almost a year just to get the players card programs all merged, because unlike Caesars, Eldorado doesn't have just one program. They're all separate. There might be one or two that are connected, but pretty much you're going to have to merge the Eldorado programs, and then once that's done, I guess then you just merge the two, whatever's left. So that's going to be interesting over the next year. But it went pretty smoothly. If you remember back when Harrah's and Caesars merged, they did a pretty good job, I think, of doing it. What might happen, and I can't say who I spoke to, but at least a highly placed source. I think what might happen is what's happening in Atlantic City with Borgata. They're part of MGM's M Life program, but they really didn't merge the two programs totally. So I actually have, anybody who plays at Borgata, and if you play at another MGM property or other properties, you actually have two separate accounts. You have your M Life account, and then you have your Borgata M Life account. So when I want to go get my haircut at Borgata, I have to go to the players desk and have them transfer, the money to cover the cost from my M Life account for money that I probably earned at National Harbor in Las Vegas or somewhere else into my Borgata account. And vice versa. If I'm a Borgata player and decide to go to Las Vegas, I've got to go to an M Life players desk and have them transfer. And you can do all or just some of your comp dollars, but it's a pain, and I think that's probably what might happen with Eldorado. For instance, in Atlantic City, you've got Tropicana, which is an Eldorado property, and then you have the three Caesars properties. So if you want to have dinner at Tropicana or go to the IMAX theater, I'm sure what you'll probably do, and again, this is just speculation, is you'll go to the Tropicana TropAdvantage players desk and have them transfer money from your rewards credits from Caesars. So it's going to be a while before it's all smoothly transitioned.
So my experience with Eldorado properties is at the original spot in Reno. I've been to Eldorado Reno, Silver Legacy next door, which I guess was an acquisition long ago. And I've always been impressed with the Eldorado properties. I think at least those ones I've been to, really well run, friendly staff. The properties were very clean. I've never been to the Tropicana in Atlantic City, but what's been your impression of Trop AC? And then have you been to any other Eldorado properties?
Yeah, Trop AC is gigantic. I mean, it's I often describe it as a cruise ship on land. I mean, it has, as I said, it's an IMAX theater. There must be 3 or 4 nightclubs, all with different themes depending on what your age is. 30-some restaurants, everything from a Mrs. Fields Cookies to a full service Italian restaurant, Asian restaurant, and a huge casino floor. I think 3 or 4 hotel towers, lots of retail. I mean, it's very, very impressive. I mean, you really don't need to go anywhere else with Tropicana, but it's a nice going to be a nice acquisition. Well, I guess it's not an acquisition for Caesars, but it'll complement, I think, Caesars very well. And of course, there's been rumored for years that Bally's is probably going to be sold, or at least turned into perhaps just a convention hotel, and the casino part will go away just to reduce the number of properties. But again, I don't know that I haven't seen anything lately that says that the New Jersey gaming regulators are going to require that in order to approve it, as they have in some other states where they felt that there were too many casinos owned by both companies in the same city. But and I have been to the ones in Reno, and you're right, they're very impressive. Lots of nice restaurants. They're all themed with different. One's a mining. One has that huge. It's an oil derrick or something, I guess. Yeah. It's very impressive. You've got Circus with its little circus acts and things. But I think it's going to be nice, and I will not miss Harrah's Reno. Talk about a place that was. I don't think it was that clean, frankly. I mean, I was there a couple of years ago, and I couldn't even get a straight answer about. I was trying to use some 7 stars benefits, and nobody. You ask somebody at the front desk, and they tell you one thing, and then you go to the restaurant. Well, can I sign this to my room and use my 7 stars? No, you have to do this. You have to. So the only thing that I think that everybody's going to miss is that steakhouse. So I'm hoping that steakhouse, and I think it's just called perhaps the steakhouse, will remain as part of that mixed use facility that they're turning it into with apartments and retail, because that was really classy, and it's the last place I can think of where the servers, the men wear tuxedos, and even the female wear the women's version of a tuxedo. It was just very classy, tableside dining and all that kind of stuff. You just don't see that anymore. Unfortunately, the clientele didn't cooperate. When I was there a couple of years ago, here are all these nicely dressed servers and this beautiful wood decor and chandeliers, and then you see a family come in with their shorts and strollers and whatever. But hey, they got the money to spend. Gotta let them in.
Yeah. And it is a shame what happened to Harrah's Reno, considering it is the launching pad of the Harrah's empire, yes, where Bill Harrah started, and back then it set itself apart by his attention to detail and his investment in making it the nicest casino in the area, and probably at that time in the country. And to see it decay and ultimately kind of shut down is a sad ending to a beautiful story. But I really thought that would remain, and after the merger that they would pump a lot of money into it just because of the history that you cite. But it probably makes sense just to let it go. Well, at least they saw, I believe the second casino is Harrah's Lake Tahoe, which is still a really nice property. I think they've been doing a good job investing to keep that up. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but it was really nice when I went there. Yeah, no, Harrah's and Harvey's are both very nice. They just did a lot of renovations at Harvey's, and I believe they just reopened, as a matter of fact, about a week or so ago. So
I always get them confused with the one that's right on the lake and the one that's across the road. But no, they're very nice properties, and you can't beat Lake Tahoe other than the traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny is a lot of people don't know this. I gotta assume it's public, but I remember when I worked there. So Harrah's and Harvey's is closer to the lake. It's got better views, but they would always do the VIP and the big events at the Harrah's side of the street. And I asked, I guess the GM at the time or the head of marketing, like, why are we always doing it at Harrah's? And so the parking garage on the Harvey side is owned by the Park Cattle Company, who owns a lot of land up there. Huge landowners. They own the land that's under Mont Bleu, which used to be the Caesars. And so Harvey Gross, who built Harvey's, didn't have money to build the parking structure. So they said, all right, we'll build it for you. But the deal was they would get, I want to say it was like 1% of gross revenue, may have been a little bit more. So basically for every dollar they make at Harvey's, they make less than they would at Harrah's. So they tend to try to push everything to Harrah's because it's more profitable.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, Darryl, this is a lot of fun. Anything else that we didn't cover that is top of mind for you?
No, just one of the questions that I get is with the Laurel lounges, the former Diamond lounges and the Seven Stars lounges closed. Are the casinos compensating you anyway? And the policy is different everywhere. In Las Vegas, they give you four free drinks, and then each coupon, or it's not a coupon, but it's just put into your account, is up to a maximum of $20 a drink, which sounds like a lot. But as I think I was out in Las Vegas the weekend before everything closed, and I left on Monday the 17th. I remember that because it was St. Patrick's Day. So Sunday night the 16th, I decided to, I just didn't want to be in the casino, and it was getting really slower anyway. So I did takeout from Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. I was going to eat my room. But beforehand, I went to that lobby bar and had a cocktail. And I'm so, I haven't paid for a drink in so long that when she said, oh, that'll be $17, I thought, $17 for a drink? I'm just so out of touch, with that. So so if you're anybody with 25,000 or more tier credits, each day gets 4 drink credits worth up to $20 each, and then a very generous $10 food credit, which is good at the old Homestead, which I don't think it'll even buy you a bowl of soup, but that's how Las Vegas is handling it. Philadelphia, Atlantic City, you put your player's card in a slot machine, and it downloads 1,000 reward credits, which is $10. Now, you can't do it at each of the 3 properties in Atlantic City. Whichever one you do it first, then you've got it. And Harrah's Philadelphia does the same thing. You put your card in, and you get $10 in reward credits. I believe Laughlin has something similar. In Harrah's Resort, Southern California, the former Rincon, they give 7 stars. They were 2 free buffets every day, and of course there are no buffets anymore. So they give you a $40 dining credit, which you can use in any of the restaurants, but that's just once a week. It's not every visit. So I do have a list on the website, on the Seven Stars Insider website, of the ones I know. So anybody who sees this and perhaps plays at a casino that's not on the list and can help me update that would be great.
All right. And what's the best way to reach you if they have insider information that they want to share?
The best way is to do 7 Stars Insider, 7 spelled out, 7 Stars Insider @gmail.com. Or you can use my other pseudonym, which is Mr. AC Casino. No periods or spaces, just MRAC Casino @gmail.com. And those websites are also as up to date as I can keep them. You can either go to MrACCasino.com, which is more general. It's mostly Atlantic City, of course, because of the name, but it covers all of the Atlantic City casinos, whereas the 7 Stars Insider is pretty much 98% Caesars properties. But it's not just for 7 Stars. I mean, there's a lot of information for anybody who plays regularly at Caesars and has a Caesars reward card. So thanks for the plug.
No, of course. And it is a treasure trove of information. Cause I remember when I worked at Caesars or Harrah's way back when, your website was somewhere that employees would go to figure out what was going on. So you do an amazing job of keeping that updated, and your Twitter is a good follow as well, at 7 Stars Insider. So
yeah, that's the number, 7 Stars Insider with the number. Yeah, that's fun. I enjoy it. I don't do Facebook, or I do have a LinkedIn account, which is not that active, but I do enjoy the Twitter thing because it's just so easy. You're limited, for one thing, what you can write. So that's always a challenge.
Well, Darryl, this was a pleasure as always. Thank you so much, and let's do it again soon.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, take care, Greg.